In this episode, I go over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, August 17th, 2022. What's going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I'm going over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, August 17th, 2022. So if you're here for that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hey, I'm finally back with my premiered releases now. So if you're here in the premiere chat right now, appreciate you hanging out with me. As always, I try to have these premiere every Thursday at 12:30 Eastern. So if you're here right now hanging out while I eat my lunch, I appreciate it. Otherwise, if you're just watching this on your own time, I appreciate that as well, as always. So I'm going to get into my top 5, but before I do have a couple of honorable mentions because, as always, it is another great week for comics. It was really hard to pick and choose this week, as it's been the past couple of weeks. It's been really tough because there's just so many great books coming out that I'm looking forward to, that I'm reading. So I'm going to just kick it off with my honorable mentions. And the first one that I want to mention is a Batman book. It is Batman the Knight, issue number 8, coming out, written by Chip Zdarsky. Chip has just been doing a great job with this series, and it's a 10-issue miniseries overall, but it's something that I've been really enjoying, learning a little bit more about Batman's origin from a different angle, kind of a different style of how it's being told. So I definitely recommend that. And while I'm on the theme of Chip Zdarsky, one of my other honorable mentions is this book right here, Daredevil issue number 2. I know they just recently started the numbering again ever since Devil's Reign. So for those who don't know, Chip Zdarsky's been writing Daredevil for the past, I think, year and a half, almost 2 years now, and he's been killing it. It's been an absolutely great series from what I've read, going back, as he started the new issue 1 right after Charles Soule. So yeah, this is still his run, but they reset the numbers again. Not sure why, or maybe just what had to do with the event before. But either way, wanted to mention that is coming out this week, Daredevil issue number 2. The other one I wanted to mention was Nita Hawes' Nightmare Block, issue number 7. Really pumped to see that this is continuing. This is technically a new story arc now that the first one has kind of wrapped up. So nice to see that they're doing a part 1 of a new story arc for this series. Again, if you don't know Ronnie Barnes and what he's done with Philadelphia, this is like kind of a tie-in with Philadelphia. So, if you've been reading that, this is definitely something for you to check out as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on with this. And then the last honorable mention I will note here is X-Men. Normally this would actually make my top 5, but again, so many great things, I couldn't fit everything in. So it's here in my honorable mentions. But X-Men issue number 13, I've been enjoying the series overall. It's had a lot of little branches of things, different directions that it's gone, as obviously it ties into a lot of the other mutant related books right now. But one of the biggest things to point out is that it is part of the Judgment Day series. And I definitely have been planning to read all the little, backup stories and things like that are going to tie into that bigger event, the AXE Judgment Day event. So, especially anything that has to do with mutants, I'm reading it. The Eternals that just wrapped up. So I don't know what else they'll do, if they're going to do anything else on the side with Eternals, but all the one shots and things like that, I definitely want to look forward, or I definitely want to read. So just wanted to mention that as well before we get into the top 5. So that's X-Men 13, and that's currently being written by Jerry Duggan. All right, let's jump right into the top 5. I'm going to start off at my number 5 pick. It is a Tom King book, and yes, another Batman book, as I've mentioned a few already. Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler, issue number 1. Really excited because, well, again, Tom King is writing it. Anything that he does, I'm down to check it out. I don't care. Yes, I know people bash his Batman and things like that, but I personally liked a lot of what he did, or at least from what I read. I didn't get to read all of it for the Batman run, but his Batman Catwoman, I really enjoyed that. I just read that recently, and then on top of that, he's teaming up with Mitch Gerads. So overall, just curious to see where this goes. This cover was almost my cover buy of the week, because how stunning is this cover right here? This kind of watercolors, the Riddler, the mystery that's involved with it. It seems like this series is going to do this deep dive on the character. So, more for me to learn with the Riddler. I'm totally down for that as well. And I just had to put it up there. So this is going to be my number 5 pick of the week. Again, Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler. Again, not sure if this is just a one-shot or if they're doing several issues, or what the plan is for that. But I guess we'll see. Let's see. Going into my number 4 pick of the week, it is another Batman title. It is Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number what are we on, 6 here. So yeah, well, first of all, I know I just said the last cover was almost my cover buy of the week. This too was almost my cover buy of the week, as if you don't know or don't recognize, this is Dan Mora, his work that he's been doing for this series, and I've been loving every cover A. I've been buying every cover A that's been coming out. So let's start there. Just loving what Dan Moore is doing just with the covers, amongst other things. So of course he was doing some of the interior stuff. I see now it's switched over to Travis Moore. Mark Waid has been doing the writing for it though. And the series has been really good, like really, really good. I've been enjoying it, and would definitely recommend it if you've never, gotten into any of the World's Finest stuff before, or you're just looking for something different. I think this is something worth diving into, and we start to get a lot of the other characters. I see that this cover here certainly highlighting the Flying Graysons, so we'll see what they talk about with Dick and the direction that they go with him. I know that Supergirl's been involved as well. So, yeah, just curious to see where this goes from here. But overall, the series has been really good. Can't believe we're on issue 6 already. I feel like this just came out. But yeah, definitely recommend, if you haven't been reading this, to check this out. That's going to be my number 4 pick of the week. Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue number 6. Let's see, going into my number 3 pick, I mentioned this before, talked about the Axe Judgment Day stuff. This ties into it. It is Axe Death of the Mutants, issue number 1. And I mean, the title alone is just like, you got my attention, right? On top of that, if you haven't noticed already with the cover that's next to me here, it is by Esad Ribic, who I had just got a chance to meet recently at Terrificon. And he's been one of my favorite artists ever since I read Thor, God of Thunder, and he continues to be just one of the best out there, and one of my personal favorites. And, he just finished up with the Eternal stuff. And if you didn't see, I got this really beautiful commission piece done by Esad Ribic, so that is a whole separate thing. I gotta, I put a video out on that, but I want to show off that more later. But yeah, this is his work's just automatically must have for me. Now, unfortunately, he's not doing the interior stuff. He's only doing the cover art on this particular issue. And again, I don't know if this is necessarily a one shot, or if they're actually going to do a couple issues with this. I don't see it listed here. But Kieran Gillen doing the writing, he's the one that's really in control of this whole event, the Axe Judgment Day event. So if you've been enjoying that, or if you enjoyed his Eternals and things like that, like what he's been building up to, this is for you. So I'm definitely, again, just looking forward to anything that's Judgment Day related. And then the artist here, Guy Villanova. So that's, I don't know who Guy Villanova is, but he's listed here. I'll have to see when we get the book itself, flip through the pages. Hopefully it's good, but yeah, I mean, either way, definitely looking forward to it. So that is why it is my number 3 pick of the week, Axe Death to the Mutants, issue number 1. All right, we're getting down to the last 2, and then remember, I'll do my cover by the week at the end, so make sure you stick around. But going into my number 2, I got to go to my man Doctor Strange here. But in this case, it's not Doctor Strange, it's just Strange. And it is, of course, Clea, who has taken over the Sorcerer Supreme mantle. If you haven't been reading along, or the death of Doctor Strange and all that stuff, Clea is now, in the driver's seat. So cool to see that Strange issue number 5 is coming out. I feel like it had a little bit of a pause there. It took a little longer for, I think there was, I don't know what the issue was, but there was a little bit of a gap between, I think it was like issue 2 and 3, that it took a little while. So nice to see that they're ramping back up and getting back on pace with this series, because I feel like I just talked about 4 when it was coming out a few weeks ago. So Jed MacKay doing the writing, he's just been killing it. The story itself has been so good. I really enjoy kind of what they've done with Clea so far. I love her attitude and just her character overall, her confidence that she has. She is a boss, and she's badass, so definitely kicking butt. And last issue, she got a visit from her mother, so that was really interesting as well, her dealing with kind of some of that drama and so on and so forth, but also at the same time trying to figure out what's going on with this cartel that's been kind of trying to take over here. We still have this mysterious character who's on the cover here that we're trying to learn more of, kind of where he stands, whose side he's on, and what he's trying to accomplish. So yeah, overall, just looking forward to again seeing what Jed MacKay has, or what direction he wants to go in with this series. I've talked to my buddy Paul, who we've been breaking down the issues one by one. I think we're a couple issues behind now, but I know we'll jump back into that soon. But he and we had talked about wondering kind of is Clea going to be the Sorcerer Supreme for a while? Is that going to change anytime soon? She's right now seeking a way to try to find how to revive Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange. So, I guess we'll see where it goes. But either way, that's why it's my number 2 pick of the week. Strange issue number 5 by Jed MacKay. Shout out to Marcio Ferreira too, doing the artwork, and then the cover. I should note also Lee Garbett, who he just did a lot of work with the Death of Doctor Strange series. So nice to see he's still very much involved. All right. I have my number 1 pick of the week, my cover by the week. But before I get into all that, just want to remind you, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Appreciate you watching. Everybody in the premiere chat right now, thanks so much for hanging out. I know last week I didn't do the premiered stuff because I was traveling. I just got back from C2E2, Chicago. The week before that, I was in Terrificon. So a lot of crazy stuff going on, a lot of traveling, but it's all been great times and well worth it. But I'm back on schedule now, so appreciate everybody who's been patient and continues to watch my videos. I can't tell you how much that means to me. So thank you so much for that as well. Also, I will note that if you missed it, I did just have my kind of video vlog of C2E2. So if you want to check that out as well, I'll put the link in the description. That just went live yesterday. It's really cool because I kind of give you the ins and outs of my whole experience of C2E2. Everything from landing on the plane or landing in the airport to going inside the Comic-Con, taking you out at night, showing you around Chicago. It's not all just comics. I take a whole tour around Chicago with my girlfriend. Had an absolute blast. So definitely recommend checking that video out too if you haven't already. All right, let's get into my number 1 pick. And yes, you guessed it. For those who've been watching my show, for those who are very familiar with my channel and know where my heart lies with the new stuff right now, my number 1 pick is Nightwing. Yes, surprise, right? Nightwing number 95. Tom Taylor, my man, just absolutely killing it. Him and Bruno Redondo, I can't get enough. Every single issue is just a home run. Every single one, everyone. And I can't, it's just it's that good. So if you've not been reading Nightwing, here's my time where I'm going to tell you that I really think you should at least try to give it a shot. Even if you're not a DC person, even if you're not a Nightwing person, if you're just not into certain, or if you think you're not into certain things, I think that this has something for everyone in it, starting back at Nightwing 78. If you go and watch any of these other, releases of Nightwing, I pretty much give the same spiel, right? So I know at this point, anyone who's, following me is very sick and tired of how much I talk about Nightwing. But that's how much I love the series. So, please do yourself a favor, go check it out. Go read Nightwing 78, catch up to us here now. You're really not that far behind. 95's right there. So, and if you're wondering why 78, that's when Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo took over the series. So everything before that's kind of not tied in necessarily. So, you should just start there. And, you don't need to know much, just diving in. It's very new reader friendly. So, but anyways, Nightwing 95, that is my number 1 pick of the week. Love the covers here. Redondo just continues to kill it in that regard, or in that side of things too. So, overall, just a big fan of this series. It's just great. That's all I got to say. So I'm going to leave it at that as my number 1 pick. I don't think I need to go any more in depth with any of it, but, let me know, what your picks are in the comment section below. Cause as always, curious if I missed something, if you think that there's something that should have been on this list, would love to hear your thoughts or hear what you're reading right now. But don't go away. I do have one more thing I want to show off here. It is my cover buy of the week. And of course, I always clarify cover buys of the week. A cover buy to me is just when you are walking by, you see it for the first time, you're like, damn, I have to have it just because of the artwork of that cover, regardless of if that's a series I'm reading or not, or if I'm familiar with it or not, whatever. I feel like we all have that cover, right? Each week where you just fall in love with it. So, for me this time around, it's going to be this book right here, New Think, issue number 3. Definitely loving the Marilyn Monroe vibes here and how it's like she's on a cell phone. It's very, I know this series is very much like futuristic and digital, or kind of talks about certain aspects of it in a really creative way. And I'm actually behind on the series. So, this is something I need to do a complete deep dive on. Last time I had talked a little bit about it was with my friend Justin, Nemesis Prime, when I was on his podcast. He had mentioned he really enjoyed the first issue. So this is still something on my list. I just have so many things that I'm reading right now. But hey, I'm buying this issue for this cover. So it's perfect for when I do catch up to this. I'll have this to be able to read it. But yeah, just love the vibe and the style of this cover overall. Again, Marilyn Monroe, very famous scene with her and the skirt, and then her kind of getting like digitized, right, as the light flows up, which is really neat. And meanwhile, she's on a cell phone. So yeah, I appreciate it for that. And again, I've heard really good things about this series. So by the way, I realized I didn't mention the artist. The artist that did this cover that we're looking at here is Raza. Don't know much about Raza, but that is the artist. Want to give credit where credit is due. So stunning stuff from Raza. I'm going to leave it at that. That's my cover buy of the week. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you have a cover buy? And if so, what is it? Would love to know what you're buying just because of the cover. Hey, we're all there. It happens to all of us. So you're not alone. But anyways, that's going to be my top 5 picks of the week for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, August 17th, 2022. Again, if you like what you saw here, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you are new, drop me a comment. I do appreciate it. Everybody in the Premiere chat, as always, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I will talk to you later.